Banks are underperforming for two or three factors. One, the technical factor, which is FI's own banks and they've been selling down banks. That's the technical factor. Second factor is this entire liquidity on the table, which in a sense has been sucked out by Reserve Bank of India because they've been wanting to control inflation. They've been wanting to control, they've been wanting to keep the market in a sense hinged in and around that inflation number of 4 to 6%. Looks like decisively inflation is coming down. And what the governor said that the elephant has gone for a walk. I think the elephant for the moment has gone for a long walk and is unlikely to come back in a hurry looking at the global data. So you have three factors which are at play. FIs, they may stop selling because of the global macros. If they do, then the seller in the banks, it reduces. That's a technical factor. Second, inflation comes down and liquidity improves because Reserve Bank of India in a sense then would be tempted to, would be in a sense, I won't use the word force, but I'm sure slowly would lean towards getting liquidity back in the system. So if liquidity comes back into the system, large corporate banks and large NBFCs, they would benefit. While large corporate banks, because if liquidity comes down, for them to lend aggressively becomes better. Something like HDFC Bank, which has suffered because of liquidity, IndusInd Bank, which has suffered because of liquidity. That's one. Second would be large NBFCs, because if bond rates they come down, which they have, the wholesale market, they would be able to borrow aggressively and the interest rates, it starts coming down. So there's a technical factor at play. There is valuations which are for banks as a category which are above their, which are below their averages, and then there's an entire macro setup which I explained. So the first port of call really could be ICICI Bank, to some extent SBI, and then HDFC Bank. That's the port of call. Within the NBFC space, I think it would be Bajaj, it would be Mahindra Finance, the big NBFCs which would benefit. This is not the time to really go down the barrel. This is the time where for next 2 or 3 months, if you stay with the big boys, I think that in a sense is going to be a very prudent strategy.